ahead. They're very close. Water shoulder to shoulder, head to head, nose to nose. Treehouse, Silver Charm, Captain Budget. Oh, it's close.
And welcome to this week's edition of Laurel Park Weekly. For Ty Ellis, Dave Robin, I'm Stan Salter. It's Thursday, January 11th. We had a big day here last Monday at Laurel Park. 2 stake races. Let's show you who won the 38 Go-Go. Bishop's Pond was in town, and a powerful performance by the 6-year-old daughter of Curlin. Here's Bishop's Pond. It was all over. Turner for home. Rosario Montanez in town. The ride this mare for trainer Jason Service. You got a nice $9 win price, Dave, on Bishop's Pond.
Sharp break for Bishop's Pond, who took some pressure, guided to the outside and kept the task in the last quarter of a mile on the left lead, but nobody was coming at him. He just kept on going there. Bishop's Pond, Rosario Montanez aboard for Jason's Service, and the partnership with Michael Dubb, Bethlehem Stables, and the Elkstone Group in a powerhouse win there in the 38 Go-Go Stakes.
He earned an 83 Beyer speed figure, but he won in pretty much the easiest fashion. Could have been a little bit more. The jockey held him back a little bit. Could have been won probably by 8 or 9 lengths. So.
Kind of a stumble at the start early for Crimson Forest, who broke a little poorly there. Stumbled at the start. Actually, Indian Paint stumbled. Tiz Rude stumbled at the start. And the outside line of Best Fit, who broke okay, but then Bobble lost jockey Kevin Gomez, was not line of Best Fit's day. Maybe next time around for line of Best Fit, who was respected at 5-1 on the board there.
All right, so nice $9 win price on Bishop's Pond in the 38 Go-Go. Skyflower, a good second there for Jerry Brooks, who's back up in Maryland here for the wintertime. Louis Garcia with the ride there on Skyflower, the runner-up in the 38 Go-Go to Bishop's Pond. We also had the Dave's Friend last Monday, and favorite tail, the old-timer, the 7-year-old, now a millionaire. He was third in the Breeders' Cup Sprint behind Run Happy 3 years ago. Here's favorite tail in the Dave's Friend. Struth gave him all he could handle. I had Struth as my best bet of the day. I thought Struth was going to get by, but the 7-year-old favorite tail dug down. A nice $15 winner. Frankie Pennington aboard for Lupe Preciado.
A resurrection of his career, seemingly, on this track that was playing pretty fast here for the Laurel Park Dave's Friend Stakes renewal, and a cracking time of 108.93. Good to see him back. Again, as you mentioned, third behind Run Happy, coming back to best form. He'd been okay since then, but maybe not quite up to par. But with a race like that, maybe they're thinking Breeders' Cup again for him down the line. You got to admire a horse who comes back at the age of 7 to run one of the best races of his life there with Frankie Pennington aboard. Congratulations to Lupe Preciado and PJG Stable. They bred him. You talked to the owner, Breeder Stan.
94 Beyer speed figure for the horse, and he really took the other speed horses out of the race at the gate.
Yep.
The speed horses were right to the inside. He outbroke them, took those horses, especially Ella Reeb, out of his comfort zone, and then really held on for Struth. The track was playing extremely fair, on the rail, gutsy win, and I hope we could see this horse go on a little bit further. It'll be fun to watch what this horse does in a 7-year-old career. Hopefully a Breeders' Cup, like you said.
Maybe lost in the shuffle there with that. You mentioned Struth, who ran only a length and a quarter behind him, but was there with him every step of the way. Ran right up to him at the 8th pole. They were head and head for the lead. It looks like it was going to be a head-to-head battle, but finally favorite tail's Old Class prevails, and he pulls away. Extra marks and a big race there from Struth. Great stuff closing for third. Ella Reeb trying to make a comeback. Well, he looked great on the track. Maybe the inside post kind of undid him that particular day in the Dave's Friend Stakes. I want to see Ella Reeb back one more time, maybe going a little bit longer and see if he can stretch.
All right, the owner breeder of Favorite Tail was here, Paul Conaway. They still have the broodmare and everything, so a home run for Paul Conaway and PJG Stable and Lupe Preciado. Nice job getting the 7-year-old Favorite Tail back to the winner's circle, now over $1 million in career earnings. So that was our 2 features last Monday here at Laurel Park. We had a big day, big handle, and talking about handle, the handle for last year, over $600 million here at Laurel Park. That's up 12% for total handle. The in-state handle was up 8.5% since 2000. 2014, the handle here for the Maryland Jockey Club up $216 million. So some big numbers for the handle last year here at the Maryland Jockey Club.
Focusing those stakes on Saturday afternoons. There's 38 Go-Go, the day's friend left over from the Christmastide Stakes Day that we ran for but canceled after 7. And the big stakes days, the highlight, and a lot of people coming in from out of town to jump in the pools there, the pick 5s, the pick 6s, and our pick 4s as well, 3 of them each day.
Yeah, especially we saw the pools, the pick 4s, pick 5s, especially on Mondays.
Yeah.
When we pick those days up, we're really, really growing. So hopefully in 2018 we see those pick 4s and pick 5 pools grow even bigger. That means bigger payoffs for the bettors and just a better all-around product.
Yeah, quality indeed. You know, we see a lot of really nice, good maiden special weight type horses here, competitive as anywhere else in the country. And then, of course, when turf season opens up in the spring, huge 13-field or 14-horse fields for the fans to play.
And, of course, the big day was the Preakness. The 142nd Preakness had a record crowd, over 140,000. Handle almost $100 million on Preakness Day. We did over $97 million. That was an increase of 3% for last year. But I remember talking to Sal Sinatra after last year's Preakness. He said this year we're getting over $100 million in handle for the Preakness, and I believe it.
Yeah, looks at, and of course Maryland Million Day, coming up in February. We have the President's Day weekend, Fritchie and the George. So things looking up here in Maryland, continuing on the upswing.
All right. Also, last Thursday, we lost one of their top trainers here in Maryland, Eddie Gaudette, kind of a legend, a legend around here in Maryland, and had over 1,700 winners. He passed away last Thursday at the age of 87. Of course, his best-known horse recently was Concealed Identity, who won the Tessio and made it to the Preakness in 2011. He also won the Black-Eyed Susan back in 1971 with the Maryland-bred filly at arm's lengths. I was here in 1991 when he won the Grade 2 General George with Star Touch, and Eddie Gaudette, a top trainer, and always tell you a funny joke.
Yeah, I remember leaving Pimlico one day, and he had a bunch of horses in the van driving away, and he'd always say hello to me, and he stopped the van holding up traffic just to tell me a joke, to have something good to say, a funny moment. But in all seriousness, a top horseman and raised a top horse family too. Of course, Linda Gaudette, his wife, condolences to Linda, and of course Lacey's daughter and Gabby as well. We all know Lacey's taken over the reins of the stable, and of course Gabby, now top racing analyst here, formerly in Maryland, but nationally known now. So it's kind of like losing a member of the family. I've watched Lacey and Gabby grow up. It's hard as I remember when Lacey was in Kids to the Cup. Yep. Remember that back in the day? And condolences to the Gaudette family.
All right, so our thoughts and prayers go out to Lacey, Gabby, and Linda of the Gaudette family. Eddie, we love you. We'll miss you. Let's talk about some big national races from last weekend as well. Let's start with the Mucho Macho Man Stakes down there at Gulfstream. Mask, I don't know much about this horse, Dave. Tell us about Mask, winner of the Mucho Macho Man Stakes.
Convincing winner in New York. And Debbie, but look at this Mask. I mean, hardly ever asked for his best. Well off the rail. Handily was the term by Equibase on the 6th length win here. A lot of buzz about him. Mile in at 1 minute at 37.65 on the dirt. Of course, a one-turn mile. We'll see if he can stretch out. It looks like Chad Brown wants to get a two-turn race in him somewhere here, owned by Lanes End Racing. He's certainly one of the early buzz horses headed into the 3-year-old season here.
Yeah, he won that race about as easy as possible. Dale Romans had a horse, Dak Attack, in there that I thought was going to be a contender, but Mask really was never asked, turning for home, and then really a couple taps by Javier Castellano at the 8th pole just to kind of keep him on mind and open up a little bit, but that was impressive. He earned a 91 buyer. A horse should be able to stretch out and improve. Will be interesting to see what this horse goes off as the next in the next Derby future pool.
Creating some excitement for sure. We'll see how he handles the stretch out, the distance of ground, and it's still early for sure, but a horse to really get excited about. Mask.
Another good horse in Chad Brown's barn.
Another one,
Go
right.
figure. All right, so that was down at Gulfstream last weekend. Let's go out to the West Coast at the great race place. You had the Grade 3 Sham out there in McKenzie. I've heard of this horse before for the Hall of Famer Bob Baffert. Here's McKenzie. It was a good race in the Sham last weekend.
Yeah, a horse who had a lot of buzz about him last year, late a 2-year-old season, maybe a little bit perhaps more than Mass did, but getting the job done in the Sham at Santa Anita, and that is
not the right race. Yeah,
not the right race, right?
Yeah, so
yeah.
Yeah, the horse we saw might have been from last year because the track looked wet, and I think that was wet.
All right, McKenzie was a 3-length winner. I was looking at the track condition right away, but nevertheless, that was a big win there. McKenzie, Mike Smith, and the colors, Watson and Pegram and Whiteman. You know those colors from looking at Lucky. Bob Baffert?
Yeah, Bob Baffert said he might not keep the horse in Southern California. Might go the American Pharoah route. Might take him to Oaklawn because he's got another good 2 or 3-year-old, newly turned 3-year-old in Salamini. So Bob Baffert, we talked about Chad Brown. Baffert's got another good contention down there in Southern California. It will be interesting to see where he points his bevy of 3-year-olds.
All right, so a couple nice 3-year-old stakes last weekend. We'll have some nice 3-year-old preps around here coming up here shortly. Let's get a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll talk about the Fire Plug Stakes and the What a Summer Stakes, 2 stake races we have coming up here at Laurel a week from this Saturday. We'll also preview some big national races, all that right after this. Dave Robin, I'm Stan Salter. We have a couple nice stake races coming up here at Laurel Park coming up on January 20th. That's a week from this Saturday. The Fire Plug closed with 30 nominations, and then we have the What a Summer Stakes as well, Saturday, January 30th. That closed with 15 nominations. Let's start here with the Fire Plug and show you something awesome. A 7-year-old by Awesome again for Stronach Stable and trainer Jose Corrales. Let's roll the videotape from December 17th here at Laurel Park. This was a good-looking win and a tough 3 other than allowance race for Something Awesome. This was his 2nd win in a row. He's a perfect 2 for 2 here at Laurel Park. I talked to trainer Jose Corrales this morning. They're a go. They're aiming for the Fire Plug. I know it's about a week and a half out, but they're going to try to work the horse this Saturday and train him up to the race. Corrales said the horse is doing well. That was a good-looking win on December 17th.
Yeah, I think the timing is right. There's Something Awesome and 2 for 2 here at Laurel. Once on a sloppy track, a very impressive performance. The question was the fluke on the slop. No, you saw it there on the fast track, duplicating a good 1:10 and change running time for 3/4 of a mile. He ran 6 and 10 flat on a sloppy track. So he's a legitimate horse, 7-year-old who's kind of coming to his own since moving back to the natural dirt service and into the Corrales barn after some synthetic runs up at Woodbine. He's run on the dirt before, but obviously thriving at Laurel.
You touched on it, really improved since moving down here from Woodbine a couple races ago. It all depends really who shows up in here. Seymour Deemy's nominated. The horse might be looking to get a little confidence back. So absolutely loves the racetrack. Has been in graded stakes the last couple times up in New York and is kind of disappointed. You get Takaful, who's nominated also, who might be using this as a starting point to jump off the 2018 year. Awesome Banner, Kenny Decker ran 3rd in the Phoenix in Keeneland earlier later last year. So we could have a really full field, a really good field. It all depends who's coming up.
Yeah, it looks like a Dave's Friend type race where, yeah, sure, he could be the highlight horse, but there are some horses perhaps in the race that are really going to spice up the wagering.
All right, Struth is nominated to the race. We'll see if he comes back in 2 weeks to take on rivals in the Fire Plug. So that's one of 2 stakes we're going to have here Saturday, January 20th. Let's talk about the What a Summer Stakes. This race closed with 15 nominations, going 6 furlongs. Both these stakes for $100,000. And let's show you the undefeated filly, 4-year-old filly by Preakness winner Shackelford, Angel at War. Let's show you her last win, December 11th here at Laurel Park. A nice win against 2 other than Allowance Company. She's now a perfect 6 for 6, 2 for 2 here at Laurel Park. She trains here at Laurel for trainer Michael Gorham. This was a good-looking win. Angel at War now she's nominated in the Water Summer Stakes and being undefeated, and this is an impressive win here. I'm hoping we see her in the Water Summer.
You know, the thing that impresses me about her, a few early wins were open daylight, but the last couple, she's really had to dig down. A nose victory here in mid-November, and an allowance race coming back there December 11th. A gritty victory, 3/4 of a length win over Bio Terp. She's a filly who has some grit about her. Likes to be tested up front, doesn't mind any early pace pressure, and digs down in the final furlong when counts.
It really does have a big heart. I mean, the horse can look horses in the eye and really give that last effort. You got Blue Devil Racing Stable. Bobby Hurley got a horse that is nominated in here with Come Dancing, who's 2 for 2. Won impressively a first-level allowance up at Aqueduct. Miss Locust Point, who won the Willa on the Move really impressively, could run in here. So this could be another really, really tough race.
All right, so that's coming up Saturday, January 20th here at Laurel Park. A couple stake races. Let's go back. Sorry, guys, real quick. If we have the Jose Corrales sound talking about something awesome, the video we showed.
Good. He's a nice horse. I think he's jump around after the race, and so far he's training well. I think he liked the track here. I think that's what the reason why he became a nice horse. Train him, trying to get him ready. We're just dealing with the weather right now and hoping the track will stay good. And if the track will stay good, we'll be in good shape. Yeah, we'll work on probably on Saturday.
Okay, so trainer Jose Corrales talking about something awesome. They're pointing towards the fire plug. He's undefeated here at Laurel Park, so looking forward to a good race in the fire plug. That was Corrales. Let's go back to Corrales. He has a nice filly entered in race 4 tomorrow here at Laurel Park, as Friday is going to kick off the 4-day race weekend. We're racing Monday for the Martin Luther King holiday, and Jose Corrales has Awesome Mary, number 6, in race 4 tomorrow to kick off the pick 6. Carryover is a little over 2,000. This Awesome Again filly was a good second in her debut. Now she gets first-time Lasix, good outside post. Here's Jose Corrales talking about Awesome Mary, race 4 this Friday.
She's training pretty well. Awesome Mary's a pretty nice little filly. She ran a very good race the first time out, and I think she have a little bit of room to improve, and she might be all right. It's just like I said, we going with the track and see everything is going good with the track. We'll be in good shape. Well, I think every horse should need a little couple of opportunity in the beginning to be able to have a little experience. After that, the horses just show themselves if they can run or they cannot, and I think she can.
All right, so he thinks this filly can run. She was a good second in debut at 9-1 behind Off My Stage. Off My Stage would come back and win. Now this Awesome Again filly gets first-time Lasix. Elvis Trujillo will rise. She should get a nice trip from the outside.
Awesome Again, stretching out to a mile. That's going to help her out a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Ty, your thoughts on the 4th race tomorrow?
You got a first-time starter from Painter on the outside, the 7-horse. Chris Melton's is a trainer. You don't see that name too often. They got a couple really nice works, especially one in early December, went 47-2. It could be really tough from the outside.
That's a Painter filly. Yeah, the Painter filly debut runner. You got No, who I received perhaps a little bit of hype by Animal Kingdom in her debut. She was 9-1, didn't get a lot of respect on the board, but she could improve on the stretch out. And Sugar Shack from the Mike Trombetta barn, a filly who caught my eye early on back when she was on the turf on Yielding Ground at Laurel in September. She's run okay on the dirt. She's run okay on the turf. Don't know what her game's going to be. I got a feeling she's going to break her maiden here very, very soon. She's had some troubled trips and finishing off fast. Some good gallops out, too. Shackelford filly, Sugar Shack.
Yeah,
Jimmy Gilmer and the Fireballs.
She should break a lot better. She didn't break well last time. She's a Shackelford. They tended to show a lot of speed the 1 mile might be perfect for Sugar Shack.
All right, so nice maiden special weight race 4 tomorrow here at Laurel Park. We also have a nice 2 other than allowance race here at Laurel tomorrow. Friday's card looks very good as well. A maiden special weight, a maiden 40. You have a nice 2 other than allowance race and a couple other first level allowance races. So some bang up cards coming this Friday and Saturday. They're taking Sunday's entries today, Thursday. Then they'll take Monday's entries tomorrow. 4-day race weekend this weekend here at Laurel, Friday through Monday. Couple big national races coming up this weekend, Ty. Let's start with the Grade 3 LeCompte, the $200,000 stake for 3-year-olds going 1.70 down there at the fairgrounds.
Well, you got Principe Gullahern, who was won by combined 17 lengths and 2 starts, 2 for 2. Steve Asmussen could have another runner. We got the video right here. This is a second level allowance breaking by 11 in a half lengths, or almost 12 lengths going away. Really impressive. Another Tappet. Boy, he's worth every $300,000, isn't he?
It seems big double-digit effort with Florent Giroux aboard. He'll be back up again. Principe Guillaume, I guess.
Is that how you say it?
That's how I'm saying it.
All right.
You say how you want to say it.
You got the French tongue right there. But Installed Regard, another horse who was $1 million purchase up at OBS March in 2017, who finished 3rd right behind Solomini and McKenzie, who just pretty much flattened that race right there. So that could be another tough horse. He's 4-1. Javier Castellanos probably giving up a couple live mounts on a stakes-filled race card at Gulfstream to come down and maybe get a Derby contender there.
Yeah, we noticed some familiar names in the race, too, that have run here at Laurel Park. Believe in Royalty, Cowboy Karma. Larry Jones got multiple entries in this race.
Prince Lucky, too.
Prince Lucky on the outside when Larry Jones' barn. I'm going to mention him. And also right kind of in the middle of the pack, a little bit to the outside, Zeke, horseman maybe a long shot in the race. Who broke his maiden at Laurel. I don't know if you remember that race. He kind of glided all the way on a short field, but then went to the fairgrounds to win on the turf. So he's back to the dirt. Pretty versatile, maybe not as fast in speed figures as the others, but if you're looking for maybe an upsetter or a horse who's improving a little bit, he's a Gio Ponte, trained by Mike Stidham.
All right, so a good addition of the Grade 3 LeCompte, some familiar names that have run and won here at Laurel Park. We'll be rooting on them in the Grade 3 LeCompte at the fairgrounds. Let's take a look here at the Grade 2 Fort Lauderdale, going 1.16. This race for 4-year-olds and upwards. A Grade 2, $200,000 at Gulfstream. Let's talk about heart-to-heart here in the Fort Lauderdale, Tyler.
Well, you pretty much know what heart-to-heart's going to do. You look at the form.
Right.
He's going to the front. I mean, this is a horse that a 1.16 might actually be a little bit too far for him. This race right here, this was the Bernard Baruch, a Grade 2, and it was 1.16. Took him gate to wire, caught a yielding turf track up there at Saratoga, and the turf course was playing really favorable for speed. 1.16 I think it might be just a bit too far. Shining Copper, who is most famously was when in the Chad Brown barn, was a rabbit for about 3 or 4 races for one of the Kitten's Joy's horses, and now really improved since going to the Michael Maker barn. Another speed horse is a Shakamat, the outside Roger Atfield. So I think it could set up for all-included. Todd Pletcher could be the trip horse in here, who won the Appleton at Gulfstream, which was a Grade 3 a couple races back.
Yeah, he's a big money owner in the Gulfstream Park Turf Course, second in Gulfstream Turf earnings in the race, behind a heart-to-heart Ty's Video Spotlight horse there. And, yeah, he's going to get the trip with a lot of speed in the Fort Lauderdale, at least on paper, as the race stands right now.
All right, so some good racing down there at Gulfstream and Santa Anita this weekend, fairgrounds, and also right here at Laurel Park. It's a 4-day race weekend. You guys ready? Nice weather this weekend, a lot better than last weekend, huh?
Well, not as cold for a couple days. Looks like we'll be in the 60s, right, on Friday.
Friday.
And then Saturday, a little colder. But still really nice racing weather, good for the horses. People love it, too. Come on out. It's a 4-day week. No snow, no ice.
I'll be attacking the pools. I can't wait. The pick 5s are favorite. I like when that pick 6 gets a little bit of a carryover rolling. I'll play in that almost every time. And the track has been playing really fair. It was quick this weekend because I think that's to be said with all the freeze, but it was nice to see horses coming up the rail, horses swinging wide. It was nice to see every part of the racetrack being about as fair as possible.
We had a delayed start, to the new year, but the handle's been strong. Our first few days of racing with good racing, and we're looking for that to continue into the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday weekend.
And especially the multi-race wagers last Monday, the pick 4s and the pick 5s. The early pick 5 had about 50,000 in it. That's a big number for our early pick 5. It normally averages around 20,000. Then the late pick 4, which averages around 20, 30,000. I had about 70,000 in it last Monday, so looking forward to that on Monday. But tomorrow, Friday, kicks it all off. Hope you can join us here at Laurel Park. For Ty Ellis, Dave Robin, I'm Stan Salter. This is Laurel Park Weekly. We'll see you this weekend.